Good day, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to hear a little bit about Mobile Device Investigator. I'll be conducting a short PowerPoint presentation, followed by a demonstration, questions, and then I'll give you the link to obtain a trial version at MDI. Also coming up this year, for those of you in the concert scene or the conference scene, you can see us at Myrtle Beach, you can see us in Atlanta, and you can see us in Dallas at Crimes Against Children, just to name a few of them. And we usually have a lecture, show, and of course our table is there for demonstrations. With that, who am I? Well, this is me. I'm Rich Frawley. I'm the Digital Forensic Specialist with ADF Solutions. I appreciate you joining me today. I hope by the end of this webinar, you'll share my excitement for our new tool, Mobile Device Investigator. Prior to my 3 years with ADF Solutions, I spent 22 years in law enforcement. 17 of those as a certified forensic computer examiner and an investigator. And for those of you that may recognize my name, I'm still a volunteer with IASIS and just recertified my CFCE for another 3 years. So I'll still be volunteering with IASIS for another few years. During my career, I examined and investigated numerous devices, from online undercover investigations, cyber tips from the ICAC, cases from other departments, as well as our own caseload, homicides, frauds, threats. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite, jury tampering. And that case was determined by the digital devices. So we all have our favorite case, and that was one of mine. So enough about me. Without further ado, I'm delighted to introduce you to Mobile Device Investigator. It's for iOS and Android. ADF has been developing digital forensic software for 12 years. And every year, we hear the steady drumbeat from our customers about not only the increase in digital evidence, but increasing the need to investigate mobile devices. We're hearing from you that for every computer, you're also coming across, 4 or 5 smartphones or tablets to that one computer. Thanks to this feedback and to our development team, let's insert a little golf clap here. We released Mobile Device Investigator, which is, designed to empower that frontline investigator with a speed optimized, easy to use, familiar forensic tool that builds upon ADF's excellence, in the automated capture, analysis, and reporting. If you're already an ADF customer, you'll be able to add MDI to your existing license, but I'll tell you about that in the next slide. But what I'd like you to understand before we get to our demo, and that's going to be in a few minutes, is that we've listened to you. We know what you guys want in tools. You want tools that are better, faster, and cheaper, right? We believe we positioned MDI to give you all three, and at a price that is, just around $1,248 US. You can get started investigating iOS and Android devices quickly with results. So about that, adding that to your license, if you're a current ADF customer and have Digital Evidence Investigator, Triage Investigator, or Triage G2, you can upgrade to our professional bundle and enjoy all the functionality of the DEI and MDI in one product, in our Pro product. Both products in a single license for iOS, Android, computers, external drive, drive images, media storage, USB, flash drives, memory cards, you name it, it'll be there. And the cost to upgrade that is just $9.99 for 1 year. Again, we work closely with our customers to solicit feedback and understand the specific use cases. We're designing the products to help you get your job done faster and more effectively. We designed our user interface based on the Microsoft Fluid framework, and we combine ease of use with the ability to be highly configurable. A couple of things our platform offers: automated process flow to help you identify critical evidence fast, eliminate unnecessary and time-consuming noise. Get rid of the stuff that you don't need to be looking at. It's kind of that early case assessment there if you want. Identify and correlate files, user activities, artifacts, put them all together for you. Scale through those terabytes of data that you're faced with in every case. Create same-day court-ready reports. You do something, you put the report together, and it's ready for you. You've made a decision, you've made an arrest, the paperwork's ready to go. You're not wasting a lot of time. And then that ability to distribute automated evidence collection and powerful analytic capabilities to investigators and prosecutors. Finally, before we go into the demo, I just want to show you how easy it is to get started with MDI. We have a built-in wizard, and I'll show you that in a moment. But I wanted to show you our quick reference guide here, which makes it easy for any investigator to see the short number of steps it takes to get started collecting evidence, what you need to do to get that phone connected. Put it out there for you. This is something that I used to have things like this taped to the side of my forensic machine, or on my noteboard next to my workstation. It was these little quick guides that really helped you, especially if it's not every day that you're doing something like this. Kind of a quick reminder as to steps you need to take. So with that, let's move into demo time here. Just give me a second to change screens. All right. So let me introduce you to Mobile Device Investigator. The first thing you should notice if you're an ADF customer, it's the familiar look. The familiar look of the home page, the tabs, everything is right there. We can scan Android and iOS devices again. Like I said, we can back up those Android and iOS devices. Review your scan results, that powerful analytics that you've become used to, and setting up scans. And we're going to run through just about every one of these today for you to let you see what the tool does. First thing we're going to do is go into scan Android and iOS devices. And again, we are talking logical here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is an Android, a Pixel. And I'm going to select over here to add phone. So if you go over to our right-hand toolbar, this is the functionality portion or toolbar. If you want to do something, this is where you would typically look. Navigation is to the left. So I want to add a phone. I'm going to select the type. It's an Android. Okay, so in this screen, you can see to the right that we have kind of a wizard, and it shows you the steps of where you are. We are at start. The rest are grayed out. And it's going to walk you through once you connect the device. And it's telling you here we could connect it. All right. But if you remember, I gave you a quick start guide there at the beginning. So in general, for your Android devices to be recognized by MDI, you have to know the passcode and unlock the device. That's a given. Like I said, we're doing logical here. Place the device in airplane mode if it hasn't already been done for you. Prevent auto locking, right? You don't want to get in there and then all of a sudden you're locked out again. Need to go find the password, need to go find the person to open it up for you. Whatever the case may be, it locks up there in the middle of backup. So prevent that auto locking. Activate developer mode. With a lot of it, it's that 7 taps on the build, and then you're in. Once developer mode is open, you want to make sure you activate that USB debugging mode. Authorize the execution from apps from unknown sources, and then make sure that the USB connection is set to transfer files, that it's not on charge only. And allow USB debugging. When we do connect the phone and it says, do you want to allow USB debugging, do it, and always click that always allow. So you don't have to do it every single time you hook up that phone. iOS is the same, know the passcode, place it in airplane mode, prevent auto locking, and then trust the computer. So again, I want to do an Android. We're sitting here. I'm going through the steps as we speak. I unlock my phone. I put in the password. Hold on a second. All right, so I have access to my phone now, and I will connect it to my computer. And as you can see here now on that right side, it's going to detect the phone. Once it's detected, it's going to check to see if debugging is on. It's going to see if the drivers are installed. It's going to make sure it's communicating, that it's paired, and the device is ready. And you can see it went through those steps. So in here, if I didn't have debugging on, it would have stopped at this and said, hey, there would have been a thing here that says go into go into your phone, go into settings, system, build number, tap on it 7 times and then it would have walked you through as well on here. So once it's there, I say, okay, now you can see under my target devices, that's the Google Pixel that I'm going to scan. So there's my target. We have our search profiles here. It's specifically for mobile devices. One's general profiling, one's geared for child exploitation. These are the default out of the box. They're going to parse out your artifacts, your messages, your calls, collect any files that you want. These can be customized. We will get into that in a little bit. You can give it a scan name. So I'm just going to put webinar pixel, right? So you give it the name. It's going to default to the dates and times here on the system. And once I pick my search profile, you can see scan lights up at the bottom, and then it's going to get into that backing up of the phone. So we use, all techniques and standard data access methods to collect the most data available without jailbreaking or rooting the phone. Okay, we're not getting into any of those issues there. You will see our data transfer speed is very competitive. We took heavily used personal devices for backup and scan testing on a regular basis. So we got this phone, it's heavily used on a regular basis, and we're going to scan it and back it up for testing. It's done on a regular laptop that hasn't been beefed up. It's not forensic machine that I'm going to give you these couple times here. But an iOS was backed up in 9 minutes, and it took 28 minutes to scan that heavily used, personal, regularly used phone. And we had an Android also 7-minute backup time and then a 15-minute scan time. So once the backup is complete, after those initial 9 minutes, that phone could be removed and returned if you're dealing with a victim or, a cooperative, if you will. And as I showed you on the home screen, you can also create backups and conduct the scan later. So you hook up the phone, you make the backup, you remove the phone, maybe hook up another one, maybe make another backup. So you could back up all your phones and then go through each one of those with your scans as well. What I've done here is this is going to go through, make this backup, and then it is going to scan. Once that backup is complete, or once we're done with this, I'm going to show you how you can customize scans, scan the backups multiple times, how you can create different how you can create different profiles for specific captures. All right, sorry for the silence here. My computer is using a lot of resources for this webinar, so I apologize for the time. This is typically done in a minute or so, so it made me kind of pause there and take note. But going back, it's logical. You need to have the access, the access code. You need to have the credentials for the phone. You need to unlock it. You need to go through all those steps. Android, iOS, for all that. Again, back to that acquiring the evidence in just a few steps. This reference guide will walk you through that. We also have on here our system requirements, what you would need for the to install this on, your download instructions, how to conduct a scan, how to view the scan results, how to create a report. So kind of everything we're giving you today in this webinar is included in this quick guide here. All right. Hold on 1 second here. Let me go back. And this should just be finishing up here now. And again, I apologize. Like I said, these webinars take a lot of resources of my system here to beam me out all over the world. So there we go. The backup is done. And what our tool does at this point is it makes a listing of any and all files and folders contained in the backup. So you're gonna have that listing, whether or not it's collected. Then it's gonna parse out all the artifacts, your call logs, your messages, your contacts, so on and so forth. And then as you can see, we're getting some of our visual cues. We're getting some keyword hits, we're getting the file scanning across the top. While this is going on, if I see something, I can go into my view results. So as this is scanning in the background now, I can come into here and view my results. So you can see in the 33 seconds of the scan, it's already collected 32 files, but it's parsed out all of this other information for me as well. Shows me that the scan is in progress. If I wanted to update it, there is a way to come over here and refresh my results. And it'll update the tables. So now in 56 seconds, we're up to 708 files and still have all those messages and saved contacts. I can come through and look at my pictures as well and see what it's collected up to this point in the investigation. So time elapsed, the status of the running, all we've done in that short amount of time, and you have the ability to look at all your results. I can also go back to the scan page. All right, and let me see, there we are. And the scan has finished. So it tells me now it's scanned, has completed. In a minute and 40 seconds, minute and 46 seconds, it's completed. It collected 1,900 files. And, added to that, with this, it was the extended 4-minute backup time, which is typically done in about a minute when I'm not doing one of these broadcasts. So in about 3.5 minutes, this phone has been parsed, and now we can go through and take a look at it. I can go in and see my pictures. I can go through and see my videos. You can see here my keywords, my file listing. This is where I go. Like I said, every folder and file name or file is collected here. This is where I would go to see that list or see that library. And then I can go to each individual capture as well. Let's say I wanted to go to my device information. I can go right to that. And it'll show my device information here. Up above is our columns view, where you can look at all the information and sort that way. And down below is our properties, which shows all the properties for whatever file you are focused on. So I'm going to pop out of this here for a second. And we're going to go into another scan that was done on an iPhone. So I've showed you the Android there. Let me go into an iPhone 6 here. And go back up to summary. So as that Android finished, you saw it updated, it says it's completed. So this scan is the same way. In 6 minutes and 25 seconds, it completed, it collected 4,980 files. Down here under the target device, you could see it was an iPhone 6 running iOS 11.4. And you have the information of the phone there as well. Scan information that I've entered, the profile I ran, so you can see everything on the summary page. The difference here in this one is I had some tags already done on this. So I'm showing up here under the tags that these things are already bookmarked. But okay, I do my scan, I can look at the summary page, I go directly to any one of the items I've parsed or collected. Whatever is the most important item in your case is right here to navigate to, whatever you're looking for. Let's say, the connection log, if you were looking to see, hey, this person, I know that they were connected to a certain Wi-Fi location, you could come right in here and see if that's in there. It could be filtered, it could be sorted, or if there's not that many of them, you can just scroll through it. But again, if I were to go to my filter and look at the names, I'd be able to pick out the specific name of the right there. I have 2 connections to that access there, and filters are easily turned on or off. So again, whatever's important in your case, it's right here on the front page for you to get to right away. Again, like we said, we're trying to get you to what you want, eliminate the noise. Again, for any DEI or any of our other, if you use any of our other tools, it's a familiar place. There's no learning curve for you guys at this point. You have all the analysis power you've come to expect. So over here, our next, let's go to the pictures. So this is my picture gallery, and I'm gonna go back up here and show you right from the beginning. These are all the pictures that have been collected, no matter the capture. So if it was captured in a keyword, if it was captured with a hash set, if it was captured in, hey, I want to collect all files, it's going to show it to you here. There's a lot of ability for you here right away. So I come right to my picture gallery, and let's say I'm looking for, or I want to weed out some of that noise. I can go to filter. We have what's called picture probability or photo probability. So what that does is, as it's scanning, it's putting a probability on whether it's an icon, an emoji, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to set this at a 70% here and apply it. And now it's going to go through. Let me go back up to the top. And when I get up to the top, you can see under records that it's filtered out about 600 images out of the 4,500 for me. So I've reduced quite a bit of noise here. I can filter by first generation. So I know I'm on an iPhone, right? And I can go into my EXIF makes. And you can see all the different types of pictures are on here. Maybe I'm trading pictures, maybe, you know, a lot of messages going back and forth. But I'm looking for Apple. I know I'm on the iPhone. I want to see maybe pictures that just have Apple in the EXIF data. So now I've narrowed it down to that. Let's say I want to say that there's pictures with coordinates. I know I'm looking for pictures that have coordinates. If they were taken at a specific location, again, I can come into my filter, look for coordinates, and pick a couple of the pictures that have those coordinates as well, and put those filters on. I'm going to turn these off here for a second. All right. Another one of our features in here is our classifier. So this runs after. So once your scan is done and you're in here viewing, the classifier runs. And if I click on it here, you can see all the different classifications that we have. And it's classified all the pictures and the videos. But you can see weapons, vehicles, currency, so on and so forth. I can go right to there, or I can go into my filter and go into my picture visual class. So let's say this was a weapons case and I wanted to see, you know, all the pictures. I come over here and apply my weapons filter, and now it's going to pull up all those pictures of weapons. I could turn that one off and put on vehicles. All right, and I could turn that one off and put on the US currency. You know, so you can see where this helps you filter, get through the noise. I've been talking here for a couple of minutes, and we've done a lot. We've gone through and narrowed this down. So you can imagine if you're looking for something specific, you know what your case is about, how quickly it will be to get you to that point. Again, let me turn off those filters. Another important one, okay, is linking artifacts. So I come in here in the pictures, there's always a lot of pictures for you guys to look for. But I could come in here and say, listen, I just want to see pictures that are linked to artifacts. So if I come to my filter, it'll show me all the artifacts that are linked. In this case, it's just messaging. I can hit my apply, and now I can see I have all these pictures that came through messaging. So I know that they're linked to the messaging, and I can take this. All right, let me just give you a little more real estate here on my properties pane, which is underneath. And the properties pane, this is all the properties for that picture. It's the metadata, and you can also preview the picture here as well. But you can see a couple of highlighted and hyperlinked items here, and one of them is that linked artifact. So I could take that right to the message that picture was sent in. And here it's, you sent a photo, that's the message. There's the linked picture. It has the hashes on here for it, the recipient, the sender, and then the source. So this was done through the line application. So pretty powerful, allows you to do all that stuff. If that was one of my items that was important to me, I can throw a tag on it or a bookmark, and now that's part of my report. I just go right back to where I was, to that picture, and I can do the same for all of these. I can pick up this picture and see what message it came from. And again, if it was important in my case, and these messages are important. So I'm in the messages here, and I see this belongs to WhatsApp. So now I want to go through, and I could filter my messages here. So I have all these messages to look at, but if WhatsApp is the one I'm interested in, I hit apply, and now I just have the chats from WhatsApp. All right, so a lot of ways to stack filters, and you know, by principal and recipient too. I can go through and pick out, you know, what username I want it to also filter down to. So a lot of ways to get, you know, quickly get to the data that you want. Let me move down to, well, let me go back to pictures one more time, because I was showing you in this picture, not only can I take it to the messages, let me take that to its message. And not only can I filter or sort on those messages, but I can also take it to the timeline. And our timeline is every individual artifact record that's been collected and every file put together in this comprehensive timeline. And when I click on that, it fits in, and I can see what was going on around the time that that message was sent, if there was any other messages sent, if there were any other conversations going on at the same time, right? So your suspect is talking to person number one, but in the background is also talking to person number two. And I've had a few of those cases, especially where one guy is grooming in one conversation and telling somebody in the other conversation what they're doing, how they're doing it. So it's very powerful, this timeline, to put that together for you. And a lot of ways to build a timeline based on activities, dates, times, captures, your matches, your tags. There's a lot of different ways for you to put this timeline together to tell your story of what was going on. So let me back out of that. So I went through pictures. Let me go through videos here. And you got to remember, this isn't a customized, this has not been customized yet. This is one that, you know, we just ran the scan on the phone, and we're getting to the information that you want. We're weeding through what you're looking for. Again, if you're used to our tools, you know that when we collect videos, we also collect, you know, the metadata and the frames. So 50 frames, first, last, 48 from in between, and you can also preview it. So not only are you getting the frames to see what's in there, but if the audio, or, you know, you want to scrub through it and get to a certain location, you can go through and play that as well. So we put this on frames. We arrow down through each one of our videos till we get to the one that we think may be important to us, you know, and if it is important to us, we can just go through and run throw a bookmark on it. There we go. And then our keywords. So any keywords that were in the case, we can come here. We could see there was a hit on Team Viewer. So the app is most likely installed there. There's our timeline, our files view. Again, this is every the listing, your tree hierarchy, and your files and folder listing. And it's in this point too that, well, in any point, but I'll run it here. If there was a word you were specifically looking for in your case, you can run your keyword search against that name and scroll through your hits, and it will take you to where those are. So you can see it took me directly to the messages tab, and there was the word hippopotamus. I put in hippo, and it's found 3 times. So that's important too, because I may want to go back and do a customized scan of this now that I have some more information and see what's in here. I can create a customized scan, go back, scan that backup, and really narrow down and look for what I'm going through. And again, you can go through to any one of your specific things. And then we have reporting. So I went through this, I did a couple of things, grabbed a couple things out of here. We have our HTML reports. And let me see if I can pop this up for you. There you go. So here's an HTML report that was created off of that. It shows you everything that was collected. This is the summary page. It shows you what I tagged in it, you know, just like the summary page on there, but it's also showing you that there's messages from all these different apps. But if I pop out to the left here, I can look at what I've specifically tagged in this report. I have my messages that I tagged, my device data, so there's all my phone information, any documents that I may have tagged, or the files, and any of the other pictures here, my timeline and my file info as well. So quick, I get through it, I tag a couple items, I prepare the report. It's not only HTML, I could do PDF, CSV, VIX. If we're doing a child exploitation, we want to export all the images, we could do that. And we have our standalone viewer. You do a scan of a backup for somebody, they bring you a phone, they say, hey, just dump this for me, I'll go through it. You could put it out into this standalone viewer and give it to them on a USB drive, on a shared network drive. They can open it up and you know, download it to their computer and open it up. It will be in the analysis portion of the tool, and they can go through and filter, tag, sort, and report. The only thing they wouldn't be able to do is another standalone viewer. Very powerful. It's also great for archiving. You take this case, the standalone viewer puts everything out to that viewer. You archive it. If you need to take it out 2 years from now for a court case or something, it will open up like the day you put it away. You don't have to worry about backwards compatibility, licensing issues. You know, what version did I do it in? Is it going to open up? You don't have to worry about any of that. It will open up like the day you put it away. No worries, no muss, no fuss, if you will. So with that, we kind of, you know, rush through, show you how quick it is to get through there, all the different ways we could filter and sort. You know, you're in there, and now maybe you get a backup of a phone, or you back up the phone here. You go in, you back it up, and you're saying, I want to customize this. I want to take the uniqueness of my case, because we always have uniqueness in a case. Cyber tip comes through, a lot of unique information in there. A threatening, you know what app you're looking for, you know, maybe some unique words that are, I always used to say, what did they say in the message? What did they say in the text? Did they spell it a different way? It's really, the more unique, the easier it is to get to what you're looking for. So in setup scans, like I said, we have our default profiles that you get. One's a general profiling, one's child exploitation. You can copy these, or you can start from scratch, a zero, nothing selected, and I'll get into that in a second. For right now, I'm just going to copy one and show you how this works. So for those who have our tool, you'll notice that our setup page is changing, and it's a lot cleaner. I really love this setup. Again, golf clap for the development team. This is an awesome feature. So for my applications, you can see I've chosen 3 out of the 6. And if I come over here to the left, I can see the 3 that I chose. Same for communications. And we give you everything that is supported here. So we give you the icons in a short view, but you can expand it and see what each one of those icons means. Device data, documents, IPOC, that's our indecent pictures of children. We have the comprehensive hash set and keyword set, so on and so forth. If I want to add to this, at this point, I can come over to capture and say I want to add my unique keywords or my hash values. And with hash values, we support you pointing it at a folder. So you have a cyber tip with 100 images from Tumblr, you can point it at that folder. We will hash them for you, and you have the ability to auto tag. It will say, we're going to hash them for you. If we find it, do you want us to tag it and put it in your report? You could bring in your own CSV or text list. And we also support the VIX database, which will automatically categorize for you as it's going through. For keywords, same way, you can individually type in your keywords. You could bring in a CSV or text file. You can choose how to search, either by, you're going to search for folder and file names and artifact records from other captures. So as that file list is being made and as those artifact captures are being parsed out, these keywords get run against it. It's fast, it's seamless, doesn't add time, gives you a lot of good results, especially with uniqueness. And then also file content and metadata. And I'm just going to pop in here quick. You choose where you want to run the keywords against. You have options as to how you're going to identify files and if you're going to look inside of files, and then where in the file system you want to look. Once all those choices are made, they get added to your profile. And you can also specify specific files to look for or files from a specific location. A lot of things to go through in there as well. So let me pop out and show you from scratch. So a lot of times I remember people coming in and saying, hey, listen, I don't care about anything on this phone except for the calls. So I would be able to come in here and say, okay, let me go to communication, let me choose my calls, and I create a custom capture just to collect calls. Once I create this is always in my library. I never have to create it again. So I'll always have this capture in there to say, just collect calls for me. And you could do that. You could do it for just about anything. Anything you could think of, you can customize. And the nice thing is, for a lot of you that work on task forces, or maybe, you know, this is going to be a school resource officer that has this tool, and you also have the lab. So you can create a profile and send it to them, and they can import it on the other side. So I create that communication open or profile. You can see I just imported that. I didn't have to make it. Somebody made it for me, sent it to me, boom, it's now in my tool. Same thing for uniqueness. So that iPhone I looked at, I had some specific keywords I wanted to run. I had some hashes I want to run against it. I select that, and now I bring in that custom. It imports that profile, and now there's my custom iPhone 6 demo profile. So you can see how you could bring those things in. Just to show you how this works with a backup, now I can add a backup, and I'm going to point it towards that iPhone 6 backup folder. I'm going to choose that communication only, and I can say, this is just com info, case number, whatever you want to name it, and I hit scan. So it's going to look at that backup, right? It's going to make that file listing for you anyways. It's always going to do that, making that list of the files and folders, so you always have that in case that question ever comes up, well, what else was there? Once it's done making that list, it will go through and start parsing out the calls, the emails, the messages, and those saved contacts for me. This also helps you make that backup, you hand off what they're looking for, and then you can go do that comprehensive scan when they're gone and happy with their list. So maybe you have somebody in an interview and they want the messages and they don't want the pictures yet. They just want to know what they're looking for, what they're putting together for their interview. And that will also help you. So you can see the different ways and how easy it is for you to put this all together. Again, if I wanted to come in here, I can review. If I wanted to go back to backing up, I could do that. If I want to pause it, stop it. That's one thing I didn't go over. If I stop a scan, wherever I stop it is saved. So it's now there for me to analyze. You don't have to worry about, you know, was it collected? There's no post-scan analysis. I don't have to redo it. It's done. So I hit OK, and now go to my results. And like I said, if it was just calls in this communication, I can come into calls. I go right to my reporting. And I can go to either HTML or PDF, right? And I can choose just my calls tab here and say, you know, I want all calls and I want it in a list view, and I can export that. So hopefully this is making a little bit of sense for you with that. Let me go back to the custom scan. So I brought in a custom scan on that same iPhone 6. I added some keywords, I added some hashes, and if you recall, the other one was about 6 minutes and 20 seconds, and this one came in at 6 minutes and 11 seconds. And it automatically tagged some items, and it looked for specific keywords down here. There's my hash set that I ran, and there's my keywords that I ran. And before I go that, I just opened up another page. Let me scroll this in here for you. And let me make sure that you guys can see it. You can. So here's an exported PDF report for the call logs. You know, maybe that's what they were interested in. And like I said, you're able to export that and give that to somebody right away. So now here's one. I went back. It's the same phone. It's the same information. There's my messages and my calls, but now I have all the other information to go through. And a little more specific. So I can go right to my keywords. You know, so if a username was aquamarine and I put that in there, you can see there's a hit on 46 different files. And what's important here to me is that's part of the metadata. So that was the author and stuff in my documents. So I may know, hey, that's important for me. And I can scroll through here. And if all the documents created by this person were important, at this point, I can select them and I can give them a tag level. Okay, my tag level is 6 there. And those tag levels don't need to be numbers. They can be customized. So if I said I could customize this to say documents by aquamarine, whatever. The word militia, I got 2 hits here. I can see where I hit on that. The word shellac. So talking about specificity, right? So I'm looking for that word, the way it was spelled in a message, and I can come up here and see that that is done in a message specific, you know. So I knew that word was in a text message or a messaging app that I was looking for. I was able to zero right in on it with this. And here you can also see we do support foreign language keyword searches. We also do support regular expression. So if you have your regular expression keywords that do credit cards, social security numbers, so on and so forth, or any other type of specific search you're doing, you can import and use those as well. Same thing, we can go through here. I can go look at my my hashes. Just let me scroll up to the top here, and you can see what was automatically tagged, has the red bar with the number 1 on it. And this little red magnifying glass signifies that it's a hit on a keyword or a hash value. So if I had more pictures that were hits but weren't automatically tagged, it would have that symbol, and it's easily filtered in and out. So again, with this customized report, some stuff was auto tagged for me. I've gone through, you know, and tagged a couple of things that were specific to my case. And it got me there a little faster, exactly what I was looking for. So a lot of ways to customize, a lot of ways to get granular or to just have everything and go through it. But we give you all those options. Get through the noise, get to what you're looking for, get it done fast. We give you the ability to give those items first, the call logs first, the messaging first, the information first, so they can complete an interview, and then you can come back and do a comprehensive. By the time they're done with the interview, you can have the scan done and hand it off to them in a standalone viewer. Let me just make sure that I've covered a lot of the things that I've wanted to here. Handoff is quick and simple. Let me bring back up here. That's our demo. As I said at the beginning, you can request a free trial of the tool. You can go to tryadf.com. If you are a current user of DEI, Triage Investigator, or TG2, the pros are up there as well. I would suggest if you're a user to upgrade to that pro version. If this is something you want to try, you don't have DEI installed yet, then you can get the standalone Mobile Device Investigator. You can still get Mobile Device Investigator separate, if you wanted to try it out as the standalone tool, as I showed it for you today, my suggestion on that would be to contact me to get it installed on your machine with DEI, or to run it on a separate machine during your testing. I'm Rich Frawley. I'm the digital forensic specialist here, and if we have any questions, I'd be more than happy to take those at this time. With me also is Brett Peters, our Director of Sales and Marketing, and I love the way he answers questions, so I may defer a couple of those to him if there are any at this time.
I am here for you, Rich, and I don't see any questions yet, but we'll give it a couple minutes. If anybody has questions, please feel free. Looks like we had one come in here just now. Let me pull that up here. See what we're looking at. Question is, which options ADF has to offer to extract locked devices? I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, and I tried to make this clear. I'm sorry if I haven't. ADF is logical. You need to have access to the phone. You need the credentials. We do not offer any cracking, any bypassing of passwords. That this is for the person who has access to the phone, the frontline investigator, getting you to your information faster, getting you more information with speed and the ability to analyze that up front. Good question. No, I'm glad you asked it, because I really want to make that clear to everybody of where we stand. Does ADF have integration with other tools? Another great question. Those are our tool was just released, and those are the things we are looking in for. I know a lot of people have images and backups from other tools, and you'd want the ability to go through it, and it is something that we are working on. Does investigator accept forensic images of devices? So if you have the pro version, if you have DEI or Triage Investigator or TG2, which is our computer, portion, you can bring in forensic images of those devices and scan them. We also have the ability to export, as I was showing before, our VIX data if you are going to bring those into other tools such as Griffi.
Great. Thanks, Rich. It looks like the questions have stopped, but Rich is available. And if you have other questions, or if other questions come in, we can follow up with you individually. And we appreciate everybody's time. Thank you so much, Rich. Appreciate the presentation. Really well done.
Thank you, sir. And thank you to everybody for spending your time with me today.